Give me my theme music. What is up, Buff Nation, and welcome into Buffs News Weekly Live. And this is our Wednesday afternoon show. I am your host, Russ Dornish. Make sure to click that like button while you're in here, even if it's just for a moment. And of course, hit that subscribe. We hit 2,500 subscribers yesterday and are continuing our journey upwards. So make sure that you are subscribed so you know when we go live or any of my videos get dropped. Today on the show, we are going to be looking at a number of different things. Obviously, when it comes to Colorado football, there is never a day that goes by without some new bit of information or news hitting. And well, as always, we have plenty to talk about. So we're going to go through, of course, a little bit of recruiting, chat about what's going on, what we might expect, what I'm hearing around the campus, college football world, all of that, to let you guys know what is going on in the world of recruiting. We're going to talk about the East-West Shrine Bowl announcements, as Colorado was graciously given quite a number of invitations for their players. So a big opportunity for those guys. We'll go over who got offered, what does it mean, what could we see from the East-West Shrine game, and also dive into a little bit of the history and information on why the East-West Shrine game is important. Of course, we're also going to have to discuss the big piece of news and information that just keeps going around the internet today and this week, which of course is the constant questioning of, is Coach Prime coming back next year? And while every day I have to repeat myself and say, yes, he is coming back, he's not going anywhere, more and more times things get said that people want to bring up. So we're going to cover that, but we're also going to cover the way that it's kind of been debunked already, just to make sure that you guys have that information available to you in case you've missed it during your workday. Of course, it's 4:15 Mountain Time, roughly. You guys are probably getting off work, been off work, about to go to dinner, whatever that may be. That's why you're here joining us now. And we're going to go over all that stuff today. Northside checking in again on this fabulous Wednesday afternoon. So we're going to talk about all of these things in the next 45 minutes to an hour. And then, of course, remember to come back in a couple hours at 7 p.m. for the Buff Blitz with David Talks Buffs and myself, as we will look back on the Utah game once again, look at our predictions, who we thought was going to have a big game, how they did. And then we're going to look ahead to the Kansas game this weekend, which should be an incredible matchup. And I am very excited to watch that game on Saturday. So without further ado, let's jump into it. First topic of the show, we're going to do a little bit of recruiting updates. And that is where we're going to have a check-in on what is going on in the world of Colorado recruiting. So just so you guys know, right now we're in a holding pattern for Julian Lewis, Cardi Smith, London Merritt, Nathaniel Owusu Boateng, McPherson, just some of the players that right now are trending in the way of Colorado. That's right. I included Boateng in that conversation because it is sounding more and more like Colorado may be on the verge of flipping Nathaniel Owusu Boateng. And by that, I don't mean actually flipping because he hasn't actually committed anywhere. But the word around the street, the word around college football was that he was going to be a lock to Michigan. And well, in the last week or so, we have seen the predictions and ideas heat up when it comes to him. And from everything I have gathered, I think that by the end of this weekend, we should know more information about these commits, okay? Whether that is at least one of them committing sometime between now and this weekend, or all of them, or perhaps even some crystal balls. Everything I'm hearing is saying that the wheels are churning and we could be seeing something as soon as this weekend. Now, who that something is, what that is, I don't know yet. But I want you guys to make sure you keep tuned in. Of course, Sunday afternoon, we'll be covering all of that. And if there is any major breaking news, we will 100% be going live as soon as possible when it occurs. So be on the lookout as always for that. Northside, I agree. I think we have a very good chance now. If you guys remember on Sunday, I said Boateng, I was about 50-50. It was sounding like we were moving up the charts. I was about 50-50 between us and Michigan. Now, the other players, I believe London Merritt is a shoo-in. I believe that McPherson is a shoo-in. I believe that Cardi Smith is a 100%, and I believe that Juju is 100%. But Boateng is trending. Now, as for Michael Carroll, for those of you that don't pay attention or listen, Matt McChesney's podcast yesterday, he is knowledgeable on this because he works with all of those offensive linemen. So a couple of different tidbits he provided on his show yesterday that I want to just touch on briefly. First up, Julian Lewis. Okay, again, he went to Georgia last weekend, but Matt McChesney says from his information, speaking to Breck College, another player that has been offered by Colorado for 2026, was at Georgia with Julian Lewis last weekend. And he told Matt that there is nothing to worry about, that Georgia was not doing anything about it. It was more of just a formality visit than anything of just going somewhere for the weekend. Nothing to worry about. But then the other big information that Matt McChesney provided was the fact that Michael Carroll is starting to trend better towards Colorado. Okay. That does not mean the flip is indicative that it's coming, anything like that. But Matt McChesney spoke to Michael Carroll at the CU game last weekend because they were both there. Matt McChesney with his son who was visiting the campus, and of course, Michael Carroll on his official visit. And he said and spoke with him and just talked about the program, talked about what could be going on and where he could see Michael Carroll. And Michael Carroll is extremely interested at the fact that he could be starting on this line, seeing Cash Cleveland, seeing Jordan Seaton start and perform at the level that they are here at Colorado, the spotlight that comes with that. I mean, Cash Cleveland is being talked about across the board, and we're going to actually pick up on one thing I want to talk about with Cash Cleveland here in just a moment. But the fact of the matter is Michael Carroll is really liking what he is seeing. And so I think we are starting to trend upwards with him. I would put it maybe at a 60-40 with 40% Colorado, 60% sticking with Bama. So we're trending upwards, just like we were with Boateng, where at one point I was like maybe 10%. This past or last week, I was maybe 50-50. The surprise visit maybe bumped me a little bit higher, and what I'm hearing from the weekend, I think bumped us a little bit higher to, I think, what I would say trending in the direction of Colorado now and being tipped in that direction. So overall, I think we are in for a very, very exciting couple weeks, not even just with the obvious on the field games that are going to be very impactful for Colorado, but also the recruiting game that is happening off the field, because boy, oh boy, Colorado is starting to pick up. They are starting to really, really kind of get that momentum. The recruiting staff is doing some unbelievable things. And so I don't think you will have to wait much longer to find out more information. And of course, we are only a few weeks away from early signing day already. So you really don't have to wait that long. If anybody commits at this point, the chances of them flipping it at this point in the process are very slim to none. You're not going to just commit, this week, next week, whatever, that close to the early signing day without, that being the for sure place you want to go. So this is an exciting time right now. We get to have some fun with this. We'll keep an eye on that. And then also today, there was an article from Scott Proctor at DNVR. He spoke to one of Colorado's commits, of course, longtime commit, Mantrez Walker. And this is what he had to say. Come home, man. We're building something special, something with Coach Prime that hasn't been done before. It's not all in the SEC anymore. Things have changed. We can be the catalyst to getting all that type of stuff done. I love it. I love it out of Mantrez. The moment that he committed to Colorado, he was locked in. He was recruiting hard for the Buffs. He has been one of those guys that you have just seen that is just 100% focused on whatever he can do for his future team. And I absolutely love it from him. Great kid as well. And just something great to see. TK, great comment here. Is Alex Graham a lock? Has been real quiet. I was worried, but Alex Graham was at Colorado this weekend with all the other IMG players. So that tells me that we're fine. He's good. The only competition really was that Alex Graham, I think deep down, wanted to go to Michigan. The problem is that as of today, they also got another defensive back commit. Okay, so the fact that that happened, they got a defensive back flip that was not Alex Graham, tells me that Michigan is just not really interested in bringing him in. And so, it may sound terrible that, Colorado is the fallback or it's what he has left. The fact is that Alex Graham will be at Colorado. He is going to end up a Buff, and we don't need to worry too much. I was very surprised to see him show up to Colorado last weekend. I hadn't heard anything on that. He was one of the surprise visits, and that allowed us to really be able to say, okay, I think he is a lock. The fact that he showed up was a really, really important and impactful thing. So, as far as everything else goes, recruiting, keep it tuned in here. We'll keep you guys updated. We'll let you know what's going on. Of course, breaking news, we will go live. Otherwise, you have our Sunday show to get your updates once we get to that point. Moving on, I did want to touch on real quick what I just talked about, which was Cash Cleveland. I want to show you guys a really awesome clip here, and it was from, real quick, let me pull it up. Oh, did I lose it? Did I lose it? Did I lose it? Oh, give me 2 seconds here and we will find it because we're going to show you guys some clips today. Really important clips to let you guys know kind of what is going on here in the world of Colorado football. So hang with me. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We got 70 people already in the chat. So here we go. I want you guys to see this and hear it. Let me know if you can hear it. And let me know if you have any problems hearing it once we get there. Okay, let me double check my audio real quick. It looks good. I think we're good. Immediately let me know if you can't hear the clip once I start playing it. Okay.
I'm going to do 2 call-outs right now. One, you mentioned Cash Cleveland, right? True freshman, walk-on center, Jordan Seaton's teammate at IMG. Played in 3 games this year, played for the vast majority of the Texas Tech game, and then started last week. So far, 102 pass blocking snaps. No pressure. Not one from a true freshman walk-on center. That's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. They have found something with that guy. I'm going to do 2 call-outs right now.
Okay.
One.
So, as he said, Pro Football Focus has Cash Cleveland rated as not having a single pressure allowed in the game on Saturday. Like, you have got to be kidding me, guys. That is absolutely insane for a walk-on true freshman, let alone a true freshman center. But we're talking about a kid that had really no offers from anywhere and chose to come to Colorado as a preferred walk-on for Coach Prime. And boy, oh boy, is he performing. That is just unbelievable. We got Big Teasy in the house. How's it hanging, Big Teasy? Welcome into the Wednesday show. And there is Lady Charisse. Go Cash. That's right. Cash said he prepares like he's first string. Here's the thing. not only does he prepare like he's first string, but I think this is the biggest difference. And I think this is why, honestly, unfortunately, Hank Zelinskas struggled. Cash says he watches a ton of film. He knows what the defensive plays are going to be. He knows what the formations mean. He's doing a better job of directing his teammates to know what is coming and how to block. And we can go and look at Hank's position of being there and the times where it just looked like the offensive linemen didn't know who they were supposed to block or how they were supposed to block when it came to actual game time. And for me, that just shows the difference between Cash and Hank. Cash is prepping and being ready to go. He is going to offer you the most he can. Excuse me. And while Cash is not the biggest dude on the field, especially on the offensive line, he is doing what he needs to do. Technique is also unbelievable. So that is 100%. Yes, Cash is about that preparation. New subscriber, great content. Thank you so much. Appreciate you jumping in. We are on the road to 5,000 subscribers. We got to 2,500 yesterday. We went up 400 subscribers in the last 48 hours. We keep this momentum up, we'll be hitting it in no time. So I appreciate you for subscribing and being a part of the channel. Okay, moving on from the Cash Cleveland stuff, let's jump into the Shrine East-West stuff. Thank you so much, Hall. New subscriber as well. I appreciate it. Oh, and there's Big T's. We got to already do this. Literally, Cash. Let's get that cash money in the air. Cash shows the value of preparation and determination. This is actually helping recruiting. It is 100% helping recruiting, Big Teasy, and we are seeing that with the momentum that we got with the IMG boys. People across the country are seeing that Coach Prime does not tell lies. I keep saying this to everybody. He will tell you how it is. He is not going to lie to you. And if you as a freshman want to come in and play and you prepare and do the things that are asked of you, you will play and you will succeed. Okay? That is exactly what we are seeing with Cash. He came in, he put his head down, he worked hard, and when he got his opportunity to play, which was just an unbelievable time seeing him play a couple weeks ago, seeing that smile on his face the whole time he was in that game, seeing his parents react the way that they did was just such an unbelievable sight to see. And honestly, that should be right there used when recruiting anybody out of high school. If you come to Colorado, if we want you to come to Colorado, we want you to come because we believe that you can be an impact day one. And I absolutely love it. Huge for the recruiting. Cash, Seaton, Micah, Baby D, Bo, all are freshmen and they're all playing. And not only are they playing, they are making an impact. Oh, yes. Talk about Charlie's first touchdown. The thing about Charlie is, and what I really respect about him, and I know we joke about it too. Somebody said last video they didn't like that David and I on Saturday after the post game were giving some jokes about, you know, what it meant with Charlie Offerdahl. We can have fun with it, guys. The fact is that Charlie as a person, though, is an unbelievable story. The guy is just a hard worker. He is just somebody who comes in. He is probably one of the players that on this team the most help his teammates prepare for games because of how difficult and how hard he plays in the scrimmages, in the practices, when he gets on the field. And he deserved to get that touchdown at home. I said it, you know, in the post-game show. The moment that I saw him in the game, I immediately stood up and started cheering because I knew what was about to happen. And I was just so happy to see that occur. Yeah, I saw that north side. Israel Solomon wants to come back. You know, the rumors out there about why he left are not true. From what I've heard from, you know, his family and connections are that, you know, he just couldn't be a walk-on anymore. They couldn't afford the tuition. And so that is part of the reason that he had to go somewhere else and leave. But it sounds like I truly do believe that his family wants him to come back, wants him to be a part of this program again. I feel like he has a good relationship with Coach Prime, that he's one of the few players that if I ever saw a player leave and come back, it could be him. I'd be very interested for him to come back in for depth. Again, he'd probably still be a walk-on for another year. Had he come back, who knows? Maybe he's a scholarship athlete next year had he came in and balled out. But you got to put in the work over the long period and get in games and get those opportunities. And once you do that, you've got to take hold, as we've seen with Cash Cleveland. Yep. Thought Charlie was a senior. He's a junior. I believe. I thought he had another year of eligibility. Hey, the longtime Colorado fans who've been around this program, who knew Charlie and being a part of that 1-11 team, and the fact that he stuck around, the fact that when so many players were challenged by Coach Prime, and yes, they were challenged. I don't care what anybody says out there that say Coach Prime kicked these kids out. No, he challenged them, okay? Challenged them to work their butts off and prove that they belong to stay. And a majority of those kids quit at that point. They did not want to deal with that. Some of them had their feelings hurt, in all honesty, of Coach Prime saying I'm bringing my luggage with me and it's Louis. Okay. That was a challenge to see which one of these kids is going to take that and going to turn it back in my face to say, you know what, Coach, I don't care who you bring in, because this is my spot. This is my team, and I am going to be here. And what did we see? We saw 50-plus kids bounce. But we saw guys like Trevor Woods stick around last year, this year. We saw guys like Charlie Offerdahl, who's a walk-on, just continue to work. And so absolutely, those are things that we should absolutely 100% respect about some of the players that have stuck around. And they're why they're fan favorites with the Boulder faithful. They're guys that really wanted to put the work in and be here. Can Cash get a red shirt? We need this guy for the next 4 years. So he's played in 2 games so far with 2 games remaining. I believe he could still get that red shirt. And perhaps that's why he started, and that may be the plan all along, is to keep that extra year of eligibility. We'll see. That's something for the team to kind of determine at this point. All I care about is winning and winning now, and Cash gives us that at the starting position. It's also why Keaton Wade is no longer being a red shirt. Forgot about that piece of information that came out yesterday. Keaton Wade no longer red shirting because of his play, and so he will be in the game this weekend against Kansas. He will be in the game next week against Oklahoma State, and so that's just a really, really cool thing that we get to see. How many games has Cash played? I think he's played 2. And so he has 2 left. So, yep, we saw the governor stay 2. And hey, he has been impactful in so many ways being a part of this program. So the few people who have stayed are the dogs in that group. And, you have to respect them for that. That tells a lot about that. Okay, let's move on. East-West Shrine announcement now. Let's go ahead and look at the graphic. Of course, we've got 6 players. Count them, 6 players accepting invites to the East-West Shrine Bowl on January 30th, 2025. Of course, that's going to be down in Arlington, Texas. David Talks Buffs already talked about it today. He's trying to get a credential to go to that. Cover it. So make sure you guys are following him as well, because if he gets that credential, it's going to be awesome to get some feet on the ground to be able to cover these 6 wonderful athletes. So, of course, Shador Sanders, Shiloh Sanders, Cameron Silman, Craig, Jimmy Horn, LeJounte Wester, and Will Shepard. So that is just unbelievable to see. I really hope that maybe we see some more defensive players get invites or accept invites later on. Players like Chidozie Nwankwo, I think definitely deserves to be playing at these all-star games. Some of the other ones, maybe some of the edge players, BJ Green is another one that should be playing at the East-West Shrine Bowl or the Senior Bowl. So 100%. That is something that I could see happening as well. There are going to be a lot of Colorado players in these all-star games. There are going to be a lot of Colorado players that get invited to the combine. And I'm telling you now, there are going to be potentially, I can't even remember. I'm going to have to go look back in the history, but just trust me. I know that Colorado hasn't always been respected for the number of draft picks they put in each and every year. Now, do we have high draft picks that have come out of Colorado? Yes, we have. but just pure numbers in a specific year, I could see Colorado having an unbelievable draft year. Yes, you make a great point here. Nakai Hill-Green, one of my favorite players on this team. Levanta Bentley, those two linebackers 100% deserve to go to the All-Star games that are going to be out there once the time comes. So totally agree. So big ups to these guys, big ups to the 6 that get to go. Now the question is, do you guys think, and if you're watching this later on, comment down below, let me know. If you're in the chat, let me know. Do you guys think that Shedeur actually plays in the East-West Shrine Bowl, or does he go to the practices and then sit out the East-West Shrine Bowl? You guys let me know your thoughts on what you think he will do, what you think he should do. For me, my big thing is I think he's going to play. Whether or not I believe he should is different, but I do think he's going to go play. Shedeur is the type of guy that I don't think he's going to sit out stuff just to quote unquote help his draft stock. Instead, I think he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. And so I think he does show up to those things. He balls out. He gets to just continue showing everyone out there that, that's what's going to happen. Whole defense needs to go, Brig Bro. I would agree. There's not many on the defense that I would say, there are no physical sacks, so he'll play. I agree. Those all-star games are played so slowly, so I think he'll just get to go out there and show off his arm strength, show off the throws, not to mention that he could help Jimmy, Will, and LeJounte, having that chemistry already. They could ball out at an all-star game because they know each other so well that they could really all help each other out. Given his personality, he may play, but he doesn't have to. Agreed. I don't think he has to do any of that, but I don't think Shedeur is the type of guy to want to sit out at one of those events. So congratulations to those 6. Of course, we'll be cheering them on, but we have a little bit of time until that happens. We've got some other games that are a little more important. So appreciate them getting that announcement today. Big props to those guys, and we can't wait to see what they do here at the end of the season, and then obviously once that hits. Okay, real quick, I want to move on to kind of the elephant, the red-headed stepchild, whatever you guys want to talk about when it comes to this, but it's the everlasting repetitive story that I'm getting sick of, that Coach Prime is not going to be here past this year. Now, if you followed my channel for a while, I've gone over a ton of different times why I believe that Coach Prime is not going anywhere, and he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Now, for me to quickly do the Cliff Notes version of that, for those of you who have not been following for very long, or you're newer here, my several points as to why I have not been worried about Coach Prime leaving anytime soon is, first off, Coach Prime tells it how it is. Okay. What Coach Prime says happens will happen. He has not once said that I'm interested in going to the NFL. He has not once said I want to go to another program. Whereas if you go back to his time at Jackson State, he did say in one of his first ever national interviews on 60 Minutes, go back and watch that interview. He was asked, if a larger school comes calling, will you, go for it? And he said, yes, I absolutely will look at a bigger job if it's offered to me. And the athletic director at Jackson State knew that. They all knew that. Okay. The difference is every time he's been asked that same question here at Colorado, he has immediately said, nope, I am staying. He was asked it in the press conference yesterday. He said, I've got my kickstand down. I am comfortable. I am staying. But then, of course, we had to get just what I think is like the most idiotic interview that I have ever seen, because it does not help Coach Prime, and it's coming from one of Coach Prime's friends. Okay? So let's go ahead. I'm going to pull up the clip. We're going to watch it together, just a couple seconds. It's not that long. And yeah, you'll see why this has been coming back into the news if you haven't already seen this.
You do believe, and I do too, that if Shedeur went to the Cowboys, Dion would accept the job.
I believe 100%. And I can tell you, Good sources have told me that. Great sources have told me that. That's all I can say like that without violating any.
So I'm sure that after this happened yesterday, Coach Prime has had a conversation with Michael Irvin since and said, you can't be doing this because it does not help his friend. It makes things worse. That's a way to scare away recruits very easily. We saw that a couple years ago with a few recruits bouncing off of the commit list simply because of that. Now, I agree here. Big Teasy, could it help him with his leverage to get a bigger contract? But here's my problem with that. Coach Prime is not in this for the money. Now, is he going to get a big payday after the season with an extension? Yes, he is. But I don't see Coach Prime needing to hold the Buffs hostage for all of this money, that's only going to hurt the program. He's probably going to get $8-9 million a year. That's going to happen. The team's going to pay him. Now, does he need more than that? Probably not. And I don't think Coach Prime wants it. So, if you want to say that that's using the leverage, I just don't think that this is the way about it. I don't think that's going to help. And so I want to bring this back to another clip that just happened today in case you guys missed it, because I think this helps the case. Okay. We're bringing it back full circle. We're getting away from what Michael Irving said. And luckily, Matt McChesney had Dion Jr. on his podcast, and here is the answer to that question.
Like I told the boosters, the panel we had the other week, I think I told you, I asked him because I want to know to renew my lease or not. Yep. Like, what's your plans? And he's like, no, he wants to stay in Colorado. He loves being here. So, and that's just me and him talking one-on-one. Like,
and that's going to be crazy for you next year. You're going to.
So there it is. Sorry, hopefully you could hear that. Forgot to bring up the clip. It's just him talking. So hopefully you could hear that. Just simply saying that Dion Jr., talked to his dad and said, hey, are we staying? Are we for sure staying? I need to renew my lease at my place. Are we staying? And so he said straight up, yes, I am staying. I am not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We are staying here. We're going to recruit. We're going to continue to build this program. We're going to continue to make it what it wants. The next thing that came from the whole, my philosophy and theory that he was never going to leave is Coach Prime's philosophy, Coach Prime's coaching, Coach Prime's, desires and goals. Yes, he wanted to get his kids to the league, but Coach Prime also loves mentoring young kids. And guess what? That is not happening in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys, okay? You are not going to go to the NFL and mentor these players to be better people, okay? They're already adults. They're making millions of dollars. That is not what they're there for, okay? They are strictly there to win, okay? College is different. Yes, you are there to win games, but you are also there to develop the men in your program to make sure that they are going to be a big part of society. And so that is why I just don't see that happening from my perspective. Okay, let's see what you guys have to say about that. What did you talk about helping with some draft stock? You don't need no help. Michael Irvin done too much. His brain is frazzled. Sometimes I wonder some of the things that guy does now. Just don't know how much you're hurting players coming here. Keep playing this. Oh, whatever. Okay. We got that going on. I'm literally talking about it. So it's not just me playing it with no context. Just FYI, Henry. Okay. Relax. These kids ain't watching these TV shows. They're directly talking to other players about what they're gonna do. Now, Henry, if we get a sweep of my earlier predictions with our IMG candidates, I hope I can see you back in the chat. I hope you can apologize for calling me an asshole, it looks like. I'd be happy to have you back around. So feel free to come back in when that happens, because I'm simply showing what's going on and debunking that on my show. Debunking it. But there you go. He needs as much as you want. Brick Bro, I would just say give him a blank check and say, have what you want. I'm sure he'll give himself enough and he'll enjoy himself. My guess, though, is he actually defers some of that money and he puts it towards his staff. Okay, he did that the first time around with his first contract. He took a little bit less money to get a bigger staff pool, and I think he could do that again coming up. So I think that's what we're going to see. I didn't say Coach Prime was in on it, though, but you have ever heard of a wealthy person not caring about their worth? I mean, Big Teasy's absolutely right on that. NFL won't allow well-off access like Colorado will. Yeah, they'd be a lot more restricted, I'm sure, when it comes to their access to NFL stuff. DMVR just announced that if Colorado beats Kansas and BYU beats Arizona State and Utah beats Iowa State, yep, that was actually, that was tweeted out yesterday, VHF, and I went over it in one of my scenarios. Yeah, there is a scenario where Colorado could, clinch on Saturday, obviously. So, but my big thing is win out. There is no reason that we do not win out, okay? Especially because that Oklahoma State game should be a blowout for us because of who Oklahoma State is this year. So if we're going to go into that thinking we're going to lose and we need to clinch this weekend, that's a little bit different, but agreed. Yes, 100%. We could absolutely clinch if a few things happen. So, that would be great. I wouldn't mind seeing Prime and Shedeur with the Cowboys. I would. Shedeur, go for it. But trust me, Coach Prime is not what the Cowboys need as far as coaching, and Coach Prime does not want to be coaching in the NFL. If Colorado wins out, no way they let Boise State in and not see you. If we win out, we go to the Big 12. Oh, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, guys. Had BYU gone undefeated, had they been a top 4 team in the nation, had we played them in the Big 12 championship and somehow not able to beat them in the Big 12 championship, I would have been more comfortable with saying that Colorado gets an at-large bid into the CFP. But because the Big 12 keeps beating up on each other and the rankings keep dropping for some of our teams as a result of that, we're going to be hard pressed to be able to get a second team into the college football playoff. I truly only think that one Big 12 team, unfortunately, is going to get in. That's just my opinions and thoughts on that. I would just rather, win 3 games and get that guaranteed spot in the CFP, as I'm sure all of you would, including you, but I totally get it as well. I wonder if we might get some preferential treatment because of what we could bring monetarily, as far as the eyeballs go, all of that. I do believe Colorado will offer the most benefits to the college football playoff because think about it. Colorado versus Miami, Colorado versus Indiana. Those would be unbelievable eyes on it. Okay. The ratings would be through the roof. The money that would generate would be through the roof. I mean, you get it right here. Colorado brings the flash. Okay. We got the dollars. Yes. Okay. It's why we're about to dominate the Big 12, as I've talked about. 100%. Boise and CU will get to the playoffs as conference champions, but Boise would get the bye since BYU lost to Kansas. Correct. I talked about this on our last show. We need some help in order to get a bye. But the one positive about potentially not having a bye is we could potentially have a home playoff game. First round is at the higher seeds location, and then we go to the bowls. So, hey, could you imagine? Could you imagine a playoff game in Boulder, what that atmosphere would be like? Could you imagine the celebrities that would be at that game compared to what they have all season? Oof. I can only imagine. Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about the last few things here before we move on for the day. Again, appreciate you guys coming in. We're not stopping just yet, but I always like to throw that out there. Make sure you're subscribed. We have over 100 people in the chat. Hit that like right now. All 100 of you. Hit the like. It helps out the channel. I get questions all the time. I love the super chats. Big Teasy coming in with the super chat. All of the people that super chat me, I greatly appreciate. But if you can't super chat, you know how you support channels like mine? You subscribe, you turn on that notification bell, and you hit that like. Because all of those things help the algorithm gods show my videos to other Buffs fans and help them find us. So, just wanted to throw that out there real quick. Plug that out there. And then let's go on to just really quickly talk about what's happening over the next week. Of course, we've got the Kansas game on Saturday. You guys, tonight, 7 p.m. So in a few hours, we're going to, end this stream. I'm going to go away. You guys can go away, have some dinner. I'm going to go get some dinner. We'll come back at 7 p.m. for the Buff Blitz with David Talks Buff. So make sure you come to my channel. Tune in to that as we will be chatting about last week's game, next week's game, a little bit of recruiting. We always do because, hey, it's just fun to chat recruiting with you guys. And again, make sure you're in that chat, chatting with us, letting us know, asking us questions. We do our best. And of course, if you really want your comment for sure read, of course, that super chat will guarantee that you will get your comment read. I love this one, though. TK, you are absolutely right. That dude is about to get whipped. Okay, you want to talk about BTA? Well, Kobe Bryant is about to get BTA'd because he has started the chat. He has started the chatter all year, all off season. This is his Super Bowl. This is his team's Super Bowl. And I can tell you right now, I can guarantee there's guys on Colorado that want to absolutely burn him. You want to give us bulletin board material all year? We are looking forward to Saturday in Kansas, and we are going to bring that dominating performance to Kansas City and Arrowhead Stadium on Saturday. So absolutely agreed on that. Yep. If you guys missed the beginning of the stream again, recruiting wise, we're looking really good, guys. We're going to have some incredible stuff coming up. So don't turn that dial, as they say in the old fashioned way. I know we're all on computers or digital TVs, but hey, you want to be stuck in for information, for news, for the ability to come on here and chat with Buffs fans like you to talk about the awesome things happening with this program. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Again, we're going to call it for the day. We're going to head out here, be back in a couple hours. Make sure you're here for the Buff Blitz tonight. Let's have some fun for an hour and hang out. But until next time and until tonight, Sko Buffs!
Give me my theme music!